Yeah, I'm a little nervous right now with the winds that we've got into the area because the tidal flooding is not receding at all. We are past the high tide, but it's just inching itself upward, continuing, even though we're almost an hour past high tide. We've seen the winds pick up throughout the area. Rain is not a big problem as much anymore throughout most of the region. But we want to take a look at Super Duper 10 Live real quickly, show you what's going on throughout the region. This is the big thing. Look at the winds right now. They've really picked up. Winds are gusting to 68 miles an hour in Norfolk, 75-mile-an-hour wind gusts into Virginia Beach. But you can see that this thing is taking aim on us. And only us throughout the area.
So this is the Bayview Hotel in Ocean View. There we go. And it was already, well, we understand it was already vacant, but it looks like the winds and all the
wind just
coming down.
Pulled those bricks down. Weeksville, North Carolina, getting a look here at the water moving in.
What we're seeing, you talk about those power outages, transformers, we've seen at least 3 of them explode into the air. It sounded like explosions, and as we looked over, we could see the sparks flying into the air.
Hampton, North Armistead in Hampton, that looks like a very dangerous situation. Hopefully everybody got out of there okay. Next one we have here is Langley Air Force Base. Look at that. There's a sign of some sort. I see the little red circle with the X through it. I'm thinking that means right now stay out of the water. Everybody, great idea. Next one, Camden, North Carolina. Looks like somebody took that right out their front or back door. Now, that's a scary thing to open your door to.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, listen up. This is pretty important. We're seeing a very strong core of winds develop in the situation. What we're looking at right now, we're actually examining through the rain, the winds. So we're looking at this green color. I'm going to put some numbers on here. These are wind estimates. And you can see 74-mile-an-hour winds. These are hurricane-force winds if they are coming true. We are seeing some gusts out there to 70 miles an hour. On, Don, is that right? The peninsula and the south side, both?
Yes.
No injuries, no fire. There is a large tree through the house.
31st Street. Fire had a message in for a service call 31st and Powhatan with 2 elderly people stuck inside the vehicle. The female got out. The male is missing, possibly floating in the water about 5 feet at 2038.
Of injuries?
Not at this time. It's a possibility that this male is trapped in the house. I believe this is unsure if the male is inside the house or not.
Fall down the 2 or 3 steps. Patient needed to be rescued via watercraft. We now have her in the back of the ambulance after effective rescue. Blood pressure 193 over 149. Pulse of 91, strong regular, 100% on room air. We have her on her stretcher, and we're about 2-3 minutes. Question orders.
7606 McDonald Road, 7606 McDonald Road. Tree fell across on a roof and vehicles. Elderly male, possibly trapped inside the house. 2041.
Reporting this missing adult has been located. He's been found by a citizen. They're taking him home.
Tree limbs down on power lines, appear to be power lines down on the ground. Cannot confirm that. Just saw tree limbs down on power lines on Granby, south of Arden.
312 West Little Creek Road. Tree fell on top of a house. People inside at 2045.
Had a 2-story single-family residence and there's significant structural damage done to the house. The occupants are relocating to City of Virginia Beach. The house is vacant.
And Dominion Virginia Power is reporting 178,000 outages across Hampton Roads
Very
now.
concentrated. Only 1,300 in North Carolina, so you see the difference. Crews are trying to get everyone's service restored, but because of this bad weather, they are asking you to be patient.
We found Sean Ward at the top of the hill.
We were in the house trying to get ready to go, and then our bathroom just started flooding, and then it just led to the whole house. And, I mean, that's our only place we have to go, so now we have to hope that the water won't go over more than what it is.
We took a trip down 6th Bay, not on foot, but the only way we could. Flooded. Every single one of them. People are saying this storm, for the folks here in the Pretty Lick area, for them is just as bad as Isabel was.
The wind has really kicked up here outside our studios in Portsmouth just within the last few minutes. Also a driving rain falling outside right now, but I do have some good news, and that is about the tidal flooding. I want to show you behind me here on the ground, all of this muck here, that's what I'm going to call it. The water used to be about a foot higher than where it is right now, and it's kind of deposited all this muck here on our sidewalk. So the water is receding slowly, but it is doing so. And also, look what else has happened to our parking lot. This used to be a nice, clean parking lot, but not the case right now. Logs have floated into our parking lot here and are now littering the sidewalks and the parking lot itself, not to mention the muck everywhere too, not to mention behind me Nantello's Pavilion also flapping in the wind, a hole in the roof caused by the wind.
The winds kick up. This is just absolutely unbelievable. When these bands come through, this feels like a hurricane in downtown. Sometimes we think it's over, but this rain is coming again, and it is stinging. And wow, it's hard to believe this is not letting. It's just not letting go. This northeaster has brought an awful lot of strange things in Norfolk. Certainly the wind and the water, but look at this. This is something I haven't ever seen in my 20 years here in Norfolk. A flooded parking garage. This is a downtown Norfolk parking garage filled with at least 3.5 feet of water. All right, we are looking at some more water here. Lots of water in the area. That parking garage is going to get pumped out because that is below the street level. Certainly, it looks a lot better than it did earlier. In fact, I might be able to make it home tonight, but we can also see that we know that it's not over. The high tides are coming back tomorrow morning, so by the time we have to get in tomorrow morning, it may be just as bad again.
We said the wind started to calm down, but all of a sudden the wind has picked up. You heard Don talking about it, and I don't know if we're having the same effect here as you guys are having up there, but here's what's happening. We're getting higher wind gusts now, and essentially we're becoming low tide in the ocean, but we're getting what's called a wind swell. Bigger waves are hitting the coast, and actually that water starting to come back towards us where it was receding earlier. So I don't know if that's the same effect. That's what I'm seeing with my eyes, but I'm not a meteorologist. What is happening is we're seeing all sorts of things wash up onto the beach. I just picked out a chair just a short time ago. This was just washing up on the beach, and I just went and grabbed it. We also saw earlier a refrigerator. We saw a water pump that washed up on the beach, so all sorts of things.
Kitty Hawk right now. One of the bigger stories, other than the coastal flooding here in Virginia, is what is happening in Kitty Hawk right now, and this is most likely being repeated in Kill Devil Hills and parts of South Nags Head in particular. I'm uncertain about Nags Head proper, but look at this flooding. Pictures and reports that we're getting in telling us that the dunes have been severely compromised and in some spots completely destroyed. And this goes from Kitty Hawk all the way down to the South Nags Head area.
John, this is absolutely a disaster. There is nothing left to protect these homes from the next high tide. Cycles, and I want to emphasize cycles that are coming through because we have this one this afternoon, which may not be as high. It doesn't matter. The winds are still up. The low's sitting to our south. It hasn't moved, and it won't all day. And then we'll deal with it again tonight as we jump into the new moon cycle. So that's going to be bad enough. But let me just give you an example of what we left last night. All right, we had the two docks were something we were watching, just kind of sitting here with dune. Now we've lost about 20 to 30 foot of dune. The interior part of the decking is gone. It's collapsed and sank down to the south. And all morning long, we have watched a plethora of debris items work their way by. Beds, water heaters, and there had been reports of 6 to 7 homes down near the Surfside Avenue area here in South Nags Head that had been destroyed. I have reports of that. Now we cannot, my producer went down there. He cannot find any existing home that's still just sitting on the beach. So whether those homes were absolutely demolished and shattered because of the wave action, or that's just not a true report, I can't confirm that. But look at this hotel, which was protected yesterday by sandbags. You can see how it's been undermined, the brick facade gone. Looks like certainly the southwest part of the building is gone. And, you know, I don't know if water got in there and then popped up through the and got into the structure itself, but you can certainly see that it's not faring well, and it's something that's probably going to have to be demolished. I mean, there's just nothing here to protect these homes that are sitting on the beaches.
Another 24 hours of large waves and high tides along the Outer Banks, and here's what Mr. Cantori said: we've lost the dunes, which means we've lost the protection. And so that is really bad news, that most likely we're going to see a lot more houses in parts of the Outer Banks go into the sea in the next 24 hours. There's also major dune damage reported in parts of Hampton Roads.